श्रीमान् वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि श्रीवासरङ्गपरकालमुनित्रयाप्तलक्ष्मात्मरक्षणैर्देवागमान्तम् आचार्यभक्तिपरिपूतमनर्गशीलं गोपालदेशिकमुनिं गुरुमाश्रयामः. So we slightly touched upon Mahalakshmi's appearance last week. We of course enjoyed the Rudra's birth, the different Rudra's names and the different forms of Rudra, and his Vachasthalam, his places of residence, which is Surya, Chalam, Mahi, Vanni, Agni, Vayu, Akasham, then Ikshito Brahmanaha, Somaha, which is Chandran. All of them were places of residence for Rudra. We also saw that the 8 Rudras were married to 8 damsels: Suvarchala, Usha, Shuseshi, Shiva, Swaha, Vicham, Dishaha, Diksha, Rohini. So we also saw that Rudra Ganangal came out of these Rudras, and we saw that Himavan's daughter Parvati, Uma, got married to Shiva. When sage Parasara was narrating this, that Parvati, Uma was the daughter of Himavan, he was reminded of Bhrigu Maharishi's daughter Mahalakshmi. Bhrigu and Khyati had a daughter Mahalakshmi. Of course, Mahalakshmi and Vishnu are our Divya Dampati. They take different births, which is not like our births. Our births are due to our karma. Due to our karmic bondage, we take birth. Whereas when Perumal and Thaiyar take birth, it is for the upliftment of us. It is for the protection of sadhus. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya sa dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Every time he takes a birth when he wants to protect the sadhus, when he wants to give darshanam to sadhus, when he wants to destroy the evil, he takes birth. And at those times Mahalakshmi also takes birth. Together they form the divine pair, and that is why Vishnu is always called Sriyapati. His name in Tamil is Mal. Male Manivanna, Mal. And with the Tiru, Mahalakshmi, he is called Tirumal. So she comes first, her name comes first, even when we refer to him. He is called Sriyapati. He is called Madhavan, the one in whom Lakshmi resides in his chest. So, Kshirabdau Shri Samutpanna Shuyate Amritamantane Prigogo Kyatyam Samutpannetye Dadaha Katam Bhavan. So, from Bhrigu and Khyati comes Mahalakshmi, and she also arose, emerged out of the Kshirabdi. Why this particular incident is a very interesting incident. When Durvasa Maharishi was honored by Mahalakshmi with the garland given by Mahalakshmi, and Durvasa Maharishi was a great sage, he was a great Mahan, great Bhagavatottama, and he received the honors from Mahalakshmi, and she gave the garland through someone else to Durvasa, sage Durvasa. And sage Durvasa adorned on his head, he respectfully accepted it on his head. And then when he was in Indralokam, he thought, I am a sage, I am a saint, I am like a hermit, I don't need all these garlands. It should be going to a person who deserves, who needs Mahalakshmi's wealth, who needs Mahalakshmi's blessings. And hence he wanted to give it to Devendra, the Indran, who is the chief of the Devas. So he saw Devendra coming on his elephant, and so he gave the garland to the Devendra. And Devendra, what he immediately did after Durvasa took one step away from him, he handed over the garland to the elephant on its head, and the elephant did not know the value of it. It took the garland, it threw it on the ground, threw the garland on the ground, and it stamped on it with its huge legs. So the garland got crushed. So when Durvasa saw it, he was terribly angered by the disrespect, by the rejection of this Devendra as well as the elephant. So the elephant, of course, he did not know, but the Devendra should have respectfully honored Durvasa's blessing. He did not, because he was puffed with pride and arrogance, because he was already the chief of Devas. Already anger and arrogance came into his mind, so he lost his sense. Same case with all of us, each one of us. When we are puffed up with position, with status, with wealth, with name, fame, we are completely arrogant and having a false pride. It's all due to the Lord's blessing on us. Because He has blessed us with this intellect, with this power, with the position, with the achievement, with the accomplishment, everything is due to His grace. We should always think at the back of our minds. So Devendra lost his control on the Indralokam. He lost his wealth because of Durvasa's curse. He said, because you disrespect Mahalakshmi's honor, Mahalakshmi will leave you. Mahalakshmi, the wealth, the Aishwaryam will leave your country, will leave your lokam. And Mahalakshmi left. And when Mahalakshmi leaves, who would come in? Her elder sister, Mudevi. Murta Devi. And she is the one who entered, and she brings Daridram into Devendra Loka. And they became completely devoid of all Aishwaryam and the wealth. Of course, the Asuras then got the upper hand. So Devendra got simply grief-stricken. He went and prayed to his Chaturmukha Brahma, and Chaturmukha Brahma, and along with Devendra, along with Devas, they went and pleaded to Kshetrabdinathan, the Lord Sriman Narayana on the Milky Ocean. So Lord Sriman Narayana heard it, and he said, let me arrange for this. So what you can do for Mahalakshmi, because Mahalakshmi has left, so Mahalakshmi to come back to you, what you need to do is to churn the Milky Ocean. He gave his own place of residence, which is Milky Ocean, to Devendra for them to churn. So in order to churn the Milky Ocean, so you need some kind of stick to churn. So the stick was the Mantra mountain, the huge mountain. The huge Mantra mountain was put on the Milky Ocean upside down, and they were churning with the help of a rope. The rope which they used was the huge snake by the name Vasuki. So the Vasuki was used to churn the Milky Ocean. So also the Asuras and the Devas joined hands, because it is not easy for Devas alone to churn. So Perumal arranged for facilitated the Asuras also with deceiving them that if you churn, you would get Amritam, the ambrosia, the nectar with which you all can get benefited. So they churned the Milky Ocean. But when they tried to churn, the mountain wobbled. The mountain could not stand in place, because it was a mountain, and it could not stand, it could not be at one place, because they could not churn. And what the Lord took Kurma Avataram as a big tortoise, and he kept the Mantra mountain on his back, and then he held it firm. And one more form of Vishnu held the top of the mountain with his hand. And one more form of Vishnu, because the Asuras and Devas could not chant. They were so tired, it was so tiring. They got so exhausted. So one form of Vishnu was on the Asura side, one form of Vishnu was on the Deva's side, one form held the top of the mountain, other form, which is Kurma Avataram, was at the bottom of the mountain. So how many forms he took for this churning of Milky Ocean just for the sake of Devas and just for saving, helping, protecting his bhaktas. And that was the compassion, the daya of our Perumal. Our Purvacharyas comment that he took so much of trouble and effort not only to take care of Devas and to get the Amritam. He wanted Mahalakshmi to come out of this Milky Ocean so that he can be with her, united with her again. So when they turned the Milky Ocean, they performed the Vedic rituals to ensure their success. They made offerings into a sacred Agni. They sprinkled the Milky Ocean with the flowers, and then after completing the initial sankalpam and activities, they started churning the Milky Ocean. So the Milky Ocean, when it was done, the gods, the Devas and the Asuras pulled the snake back and forth, and suddenly the beautiful the Lakshmi arose from the water. So treasures from the depth of the ocean began to rise one after the other. And what came? A beautiful jewel, Kaustuba gem, splashed to the surface. It was claimed by Vishnu as an adornment, as a jewel on his chest. The Parijata tree, the Kalpaka Vriksham, came out of it. The Kamadhenu, the Surabhi, the cow of plenty, the Deva Pashu, it came next. Of course, the Airavata, the elephant of Devendra, also came out. A beautiful conch shell, the Panchajanya, it came out. A mighty bow came out. And of course, there was a frothing ocean. A black cloud arose, and that proved to be the deadly poison, the Visham, Alahala Visham. That came out. The cloud began to drift toward the shores, and the Devas and Asuras dropped the snake, and they were started running. Then the poison came out, and the Shiva appeared and stood in front of the poison cloud with the blessings given by Vishnu. He using his hands, he scooped the poison into his mouth and swallowed. The poison was so toxic, it burnt his throat blue, but he could not do more harm to Shiva. Because of the blessing, after drinking the poison, he is called Neelakandan because of the blue neck, because of the poison which stayed there. So the Devas and Asuras resumed their efforts to churn the ocean, and the celestial physician Dhanvantri appeared carrying the Amritam. Before that, what we talked about is Mahalakshmi. She appeared. She is the goddess of wealth, and she appeared as the most beautiful, most prettiest. Mahalakshmi came out, and the celestial dancer Ramba and Uchaiswararas, the flying horse, they also arose, and the moon appeared. So that is why she is called Chandra Sodari, moon's sister, Mahalakshmi. So when Mahalakshmi came, she came out, she was so beautiful, she was so pretty, she was and she was so gorgeous with all jewelry bedecked. She came out and she had a garland in her hand. She was looking for her partner, for the spouse to marry. And of course, everybody was looking. She went straight to Vishnu and she garlanded him, and she stepped on his hand and was seated on his divine chest. Now, there was one Shishya to Ramanuja, and the son of Ramanuja's primary disciple by name Kurattaalvan. His name was also Parasara, named after the sage Parasara by Ramanuja. His name was Parasara Bhatta. And Parasara Bhatta was a great Mahatma, great Bhagavatottama. And he was narrating this particular incident to his Shishya. And there was one sannyasi Shishya by name Namjiyar. And that Namjiyar asked Parasara Bhatta as to how come Mahalakshmi, who is supposed to be the chief of all the women, who is supposed to be the goddess, who is supposed to have the feminine beauty, the shyness, the vekkam, acham, madam, nanam, payirpe, all these feminine qualities should have been with her. How come in front of all those males, the devas, she went and seated in the divine chest of Mahavishnu? How could she be so unashamed? So, how could she be without any shame in front of everyone, without any shyness, seated in the divine chest of Mahavishnu? Parasara Bhatta smiled. He said, she is of course the personification of feminine beauty. She is our Mata, Jagan Mata. She is our goddess. Nityevesha Jagan Mata Vishnu Sri Anapayini. Yata Devatta Yata Sarvam Gato Vishnu Tataiveyam Dvijottama. So she is Nitya Anapayini, Jagan Mata. She is the Mata of the whole universe, including Devas. So in front of the children, the mother need not feel to be with the father, to be united with the father, to be close to the father. Why should she feel shy in front of the children? Because all of us are her children. That is one aspect. Other is, all of us, the Jivatmas, are none other than Stris. We are all Stris. And we are all married to him, Perumal. He is the Purushottaman. He is the only one Purusha. That is why Purusha Suktam refers to him. So, he is the Parama Purusha. We are all Stris. So, Goddess is also his divine consort. So, there is nothing wrong in her being seated in the divine chest of Mahavishnu. So, this Mahalakshmi is the one who is never ever separated from Mahavishnu. And she is always with Mahavishnu because she is the mediatrix, she is the recommendation for us. Because we have been always trespassing whatever God wants us to do. Whatever He says in the Shastras, do this, do this, do this. We don't do. Whatever He says, don't do. We always do that. So we commit always papam. That is why we have been born again and again. So, He is very angered by all our trespasses against Shastric injunction. He is a Dandadaram. He is the one who has to punish us because of our non-doing whatever that He asked us to do. And so, if that is the case, we cannot go to Him to the temple and seek His forgiveness. He is waiting for us to go in front of Him so that He can punish us. So we should always go to Mahalakshmi, because even in our house, to our normal mother and father, whenever we get our progress report, we know we have not been doing right, we have not been studying, so we get not good marks. So father would be terribly angered by that. So we go to the mother. We say, next time I will study well and I will do well. And then Mata, even though she is also angry, she forgives the children because she is the Mata. She has a compassion. She has a daya. She does not know what is punishment. So she says, okay, next time be careful. Now I will go. You don't come, I will come after 5 minutes. I will go and recommend your case to him. and then she goes and stands next to Mahavishnu, the Perumal, and then she goes and asks. She goes and tells him, now he is going to come, he has just gone around, he is doing the Pradakṣinam, so he will come in front of us, we should forgive him, okay? He has realized this mistake, we should forgive him. He says, no way, how can I forgive him? How can I not punish him? Because he has been committing papams and papams. If I forgive him, everybody would be just going scot-free. Then scot-free. They would say, he has forgiven Madhav, so he would forgive anyone and everyone else. So what is the point in having shastras and dharmams and all that? This is not acceptable, Devi. I cannot forgive. She says, I understand. You have a right, you have a responsibility to take care of the shastras. You have the responsibility to let the children follow the order, law and order. Of course, and I completely agree with you. So he is happy that she has agreed. Now, can I suggest to you one idea? Can I give you an idea? He says, I cannot think of any other thing. You are able to think. Good. Suggest. And she says, okay. If he says, Sharanam, if he folds his hand and performing Saranagati, then you can say, since he has already said Saranagati, he has already folded his hands with utter helplessness, saying that you alone can save. Now you can forgive him. If people come to you and say Saranam, perform Saranagati, says that you alone can take care, I would not hereafter do this, then you can forgive and you will not punish. If they don't do that, and if they continue to go against the Shastras, then you can go ahead and you give some more births, you give some more punishment, you do whatever that you want to do. Is that okay? She says, this seems okay for me. So by the time I come in front of them, so I fold my hand and I say, Sharanam. Srimate Narayana Namaha, Sharanam. And then they say, very good. So they are happy. And that is why Sri is regarded as the one who recommends. Sri is the one who listens to the pathetic prayers of the devotees seeking help. So she is easily accessible for us. So she, because she is always sought after by the individual, and she is always there for us to go to her, because she is the one who helps us. She is the one who makes Perumal listen to her. All our prayers she takes care of. She is the one who gives all mangalams to us when we pray to her. She is the one who gives us the speech for us to pray to them. She is the one who fulfills all our desires. She is the one who is the personification, enrichment of our dhyana. She is the one who gives us Vedanta Vidya. She is the one who gives happiness in our mind. She is the one who enables us to go up in our life, get more higher position, get more status, get more Aishwaryam, get more wealth. She is the one who destroys all our papams. She is the one who gives the recognition for our accomplishment, for our efforts. She destroys our sorrows. She destroys our fears. She gains the Lord's anugraham on us. She blesses us with the distinguished jnanam, distinguished education, with the right bent of mind to listen to such talks, even though it is by me. She is the one who fulfills all your Shubha Karyam. She neutralizes, she removes, she destroys the curses, the shapam from the rishis, from the pitrus, from anyone, because we are not following the shastras. She is the one who gives everlasting, eternal wealth. She is the one who lets our bhakti grow in us. She helps us attain high positions. She is the one who conquers our vacillating vagaries, the fleeting mind, which is completely going sinusoidal. One day it is high, one day it is low, one day it is papam, next day it is punyam. She is the one who conquers our mind. She is the one who gives dharmic thinking. She is the one who lets us attain moksha. She is the one who removes our mental, physical illness and clears. She removes our samsara bhayam. She gives more kaikaryam, eternal kaikaryam. She gives all desired fruits. She gives the acharya bhakti. So she gives so much so that she is the one who is Jagan Mata, and she is completely listens to our prayers. She makes Perumal listen. So that is why our Purvacharyas mentioned that Shri Sabdam, it is equivalent to Shriyate, Shrayate, Shrunoti, Sravayati, Shrunati, Srinati. There are 6 different interpretations, the meanings of Shri Sabdam, which means she is attained by those who wish to be uplifted, who wish to be redeemed. She approaches her Perumal herself for that purpose of redeeming us. She pleads and prays to him. She makes him listen for the appeal to the Jivatmas, to us, to protect us. She invites the attention of her Perumal about our pitiable plight, pitiable situation, and appeals to him to overlook our papams, our trespasses, our time immemorial papams. She chases away our virodhis, our enemies that stand in the fulfillment of our Sharanagati. Whatever that is a hurdle, that is a challenge for us, she removes. She makes sure that it is removed. She brings to the perfection the Atma Gunas. Whoever is the devotee of her, she brings us the Shantam, the patience, the forgiveness, the Ahimsa. All these Daya, all these Gunas come to the devotees as well. She is so wonderful. She is the one who blesses us through her Kataksha. Our Parasara Bhattar mentions the Kuratalwan's son Parasara Bhattar. He mentions that when we go and pray with the folded hands to Perumal, to Mahalakshmi, she is there. She is not looking at us. She looks down. Her eyes are a bit lower, and so you may wonder, why is her eyes lower? Because she is a woman, she does not want to look at others? No, because she is so overwhelmed with daya that my bhaktan is folding his hands and he is praying to me. I have given him Aishwaryam, I have given him Moksham, I have given him everything, and what else I can give him? She is looking for, she is ashamed, she is not able to give anything else. She is so compassionate. She is so much dayalu. And she, even when Hanuman goes and informs Sita Pirati that give me, just say yes now. I will kill all these Rakshasis who were torturing you when I saw you last time. Now that Ravana is killed by Rama, we have won. All these Rakshasis, I will crush them to death because they were torturing you so much. He was angry on them. And Sita Pirati says, Papanam va Shivanam va Padarhanam Plavangama Karyam Karunamadhyena Nakaschit Naparadhyati. What a beautiful line. Sita Pirati was tortured by those Arakis, Rakshasis. She must have been so angered by that. She must have been so frustrated with that, pained by those torture. This is the right time to punish them. But what she says, because they were working for Ravana, they were just doing their duty. They were only the arrow. The person who aimed the arrow was Ravana. So what is the point in blaming them? Today when Vibhishana is the king, they would start dressing me up, they would start garlanding me, they would dress me, they would give me a facelift. So today they would do some other work. And who has not erred in this world? Who has not committed aparadam, apacharam? Who has not committed mistakes in this world? She says, she is so forgiving. And she says, even Kamban says, when Vali was killed by Rama was hiding behind the tree, and he sent the arrow which killed Vali, and Vali was still breathing. He saw the Rama name on the arrow, and so he called Rama out. So Rama, when he stood in front of Vali's body, Vali said, why did you kill me? Why did you have to hide yourself and kill? He asked so many questions and were answered by Rama. But finally Kamban says, Aviyai Janakan Petra Annattai Amulzil Vanda Deviyai Pirindanai Tigaitana Polum Saivanai. So Aviyai, she is your will, she is your soul. And Janakan Petra Annattai, she is like the Anna Pakshi Hamsam of the one who is Janaka's daughter. And Amulzil Vanda Deviyai, the one who came out of the Milky Ocean. Just now we saw Mahalakshmi, the one who came out of when the Milky Ocean was churned, along with the Amrita, along with the nectar. And because you were separated from her, you lost your sense, you lost your control, you did not know what you are doing. That is why, because she is away from you, you lost. And did Rama know this? He must have known, but he did not admit. Who would admit? I will not admit that because my wife is not there, I cannot think properly and I'm lost. I would not admit. And of course, Lord Sri Ramachandra Murthy also perhaps did not. So, what I was trying to say, Sita Pirati is so forgiving, Jagannatha is so forgiving, she is never ever separated from Mahalakshmi. Of course, Mahalakshmi, there is a separate Sannidhi which is a Tanik Koil, and there is also Mahalakshmi, Sridevi, Bhudevi is on the both sides of Vishnu, called Ubayanachima. And in all Divyadesam, in all temples, we saw Mahalakshmi seated in the chest as well. So there are three forms of Mahalakshmi. I will just finish in 2 minutes. So three forms of Mahalakshmi. One is on the divine chest, second is by the side, and the third is in a separate Sannidhi. Why three? Because Madhavakannan has to go to the Sannidhi separately when she is alone, so that I can go and plead her. I can tell her, I'm sorry, I would not do hereafter, please forgive me. She says, don't worry, I will take care. And that is why separate Sannidhi, which is called Adhikara Archamurti, in a separate Sannidhi. And then Bhoga Archamurti by Lord's side, where she is just talking to him in his ears that he is going to come, he is going to say Sharanam, he is going to perform Sharanagati, so you need to take care. And of course she argues, finally she is now seated in the divine chest called Laya Archamurti. And then she says, you have to forgive him because he has performed Sharanagati. It is you who said, Masusaha, Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo. You said, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja. If the person who says Sharanagati to you, Sharanagati to me, I will completely absolve you of all papas. You said in Bhagavad Gita. So you have to forgive them. So Mahalakshmi plays such a vital role, being a Jagannatha. They are together as our divine couple. Kavitartika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimati Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Dhanyosmi.